Aloha. My name is John Kaanehe. I'm 90 years old and I like to keep myself busy so I can stay alive. I go to Ala Moana Shopping Center and I walk there almost every night. I walk for 1 hour and then sometimes I get lazy, I don't want to walk. And I say to myself, what do you want to do? You don't want to walk with crutches or want to walk without crutches? And I say without crutches, I get on my car, I jump on my car and I go all the way down to Ala Moana Shopping Center and start walking again. And it really helps me. Okay, if I don't walk, my leg gets weak. And I don't want to walk with crutches or be on a wheelchair. I want to keep on walking throughout my life. So that's why I continue to walk. I've read many things. I have lots of ideas, but I can't keep up with it. But I have 196 inventions. I have 7 patents, and I continue to invent things that keep coming to my mind. And I'm glad because they keep my mind busy, so my mind don't go to sleep. So that keeps me active. And for my age, when you're old, you have to keep doing something to keep your mind working and keep your feet walking so your muscles be strong enough so you can live longer and be healthy. So I have 2 children. My daughter is Karen Leia Aloha Kaanehe Carol. And she's a very wonderful daughter. You do a lot for me and I love her and she means so much to me because she helped me a lot through my life. And I have a son, his name is Blaine Chandler Kaanehe. And he works at Los Angeles. He drives the big containers across the country. And then I love him because he's my son. And we all get along together. We all share our ideas together. And we get along real fine. I have 10 grandchildren and 20 great-grandchildren. And I'm proud to see the family all together. We all get along. We're all trying to help each other to get ahead. This would be a better world if we can all get along together. We can respect each other and say good things about one another, no matter how bad it is, but say good things so we can get along together, and that will make this world a better world. For the wall, they're hiring lots of people from the mainland. And then they were housing them up in Kamehameha School. In the morning, see them walking down by Kalakau School, going down to by Kalihi, by Nimitz Highway, and the train, they catch a train over there. And the train take them right into Pearl Harbor. And then after work, the train comes back, they drop them off. Then you see all them walking up from Nimitz Highway all the way up to Kamehameha School, by Fairton High School. And then every day they walk, and I figure there's something going on, you know, the war is going to be a war. That's what people say, there'll be a war. And then, so my dad was working at Pearl Harbor. He was a lady man, a shipwright shop. And he said, why don't you go and find a job now, because they're hiring a lot of people. And my friends, they went to apply for the job, and they got the job. They're working at Pearl Harbor. So I figured, gee, I better take a chance and go there and work. That's the only way I can earn good money. So I went there and I applied for a job at the labor board, and I got in, and then I started to work. I started there September 1941, 4 months before the war broke out. And then when the war broke out on December 7th, I was home, and I heard a lot of noise outside, guns going off in the air. And I hear a lot of people talking outside. So what's going on? What the National Guard is doing? They're having a practice today on Sunday. So I went outside, and I looked, a lot of people outside looking up in the sky. When I look up, it's all black smoke. They're shooting the plane from Fort Shafter. I live right close to Fort Shafter, and the planes were going over to Fort Shafter to bomb Fort Shafter, and they were shooting the planes. And then after that, I got ready, and I went to church. And while I was in church, they announced in church that they want all Pearl Harbor employees to report back to work. And then my dad and I and my 2 brothers, we went back to work to Pearl Harbor. And and then we couldn't take our cars in Pearl Harbor because you have to leave it outside because they have to keep the place empty all the time with the trucks going up and down. On our way to Pearl Harbor, we passed Hickam Field. As we passed the main gate, the planes were overhead, above us, they're shooting each other. They fighting. So what do? We park our cars, we run under the flat cars, the train cars, and we hid underneath there until the plane went by. And then after we came back, and we park our cars. And as you went into Pearl Harbor, they had trucks all standing by. They put the people on the truck. When the truck is loaded, they take you to wherever they needed help. And the truck I was on, they took me to dry dock number 1. When the dry dock number 1, the boat was on fire. And then they needed us to hold the fire hose, help them fight the fire. And then somebody said the fire is getting close to the ammunition room. And then the sailors had 2 long lines on both sides standing across of each other, and they were passing on the ammunition, emptied it, they taking it off the ship. And I stayed there for a while, and after that I went to dry dock number 2. Dry dock number 2 is a little smaller dry dock. I got there when they fight fire in there, and then after that, and then I went to dry dock number 3. Dry dock number 3, they have the submarines in there. The dry dock is shallow. And then after that I went other area that they needed help. And then I went to dry dock. I went to machine shop 31. Shop 31 where they brought in all the dead bodies. They pulled them up from the water. They were all full with oil. You don't know who they are. They're just covered with oil. When they brought them into the shop, and then the only way they got their name, when they brought it in the shop, they have the T-shirt. They put the T-shirt up. It's all clean, white inside. And when they flip it over like that, they have their names on top. And then they put their names on the tag, and they tagged them on the shoes, and then they took them out to the football field in Molilia, the football field on King Street, the old football field. And then that's where they have all the doctors and the nurses, where they pronounce them dead or whatever was going on. So there was a lot of people they were bringing in the shop, in and out. And then after that, while I was working over there, some of the boys said, "You should have come live 5 minutes earlier." I said, "Why?" He said, "They just shut down the plane." And then the fellow who graduated from the high school over here, and then he had his. I told him, "How do you know?" He said, "Because he had his graduation ring on, and that's how I knew he was graduated from here." And then after that, almost about 4 o'clock or 4:30, and then things started to kind of calm down. So they let everybody to go home at that time. But before we left, they asked they have to start night shift right tonight. They have to pick up people to start working on night shift. And then they call us some people. They say, "Oh, they have families, children, they cannot." So what they did, they picked up all the single people. So I was one of them. So I started to work grave shift at night. And then we started with 18 hours. We started working 18 hours. That time I was 17 years old. I was working at Pearl Harbor. And then when the war broke out, 1 month after that, I was drafted in the Army. The Army took her down at Schofield. We went on the bus, on the truck, Army truck. They took us to Schofield, a whole bunch of us. And then we went there to get examined, a physical exam, and then we had lunch. After lunch, they say everybody out on the field. So a whole bunch of, a couple of hundred of us out on the field. And they say, all Pearl Harbor employees, one side of the field. So Pearl Harbor employees went on one side of the field. And then they said, all Pearl Harbor employees report back to work tomorrow. And then we got deferred. They couldn't draft us. I finished my year of service in Hickam Air Force Base. I thank you all for listening. My name is John Kaanehe.